Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I want to preface this video by saying Smashbox, I have nothing against you. Okay, you just happen to be where the most recent example of this happened. Okay, there's nothing against Smashbox. This is not about Smashbox. This is about the comment section on a post and how many times I have to see this. And I just happen to have screenshots from a Smashbox post. It's not your fault. It's not your fault, Smashbox. It's not your fault. But it's really starting to get on my nerves that I am seeing all of these inclusive campaigns that don't include anybody with any sort of visible disability. Beauty companies especially have been kind of bullied into being more shade range inclusive because of Rihanna's success. So I'm not trying to belittle that at all. Like, Rihanna, she changed the game. Amazing. I love seeing shades for pale people like me to the darkest of the dark. Like, I want the whole spectrum to be covered. And at the end of the day, you know, it doesn't really matter what your level of physical ability is. You're going to be able to find your foundation shade. You know what I mean? But to me, it's about the marketing, because all of these brands are showing all of these different women with different skin tones and different body types and going, look, something for everyone, so inclusive. And I can't help but look at it and notice that there is not a single person in these campaigns with a cane or a walker or a service dog or a wheelchair, anything to that extent. So this particular Smashbox post, again, I'm so sorry, Smashbox, but this was actually a post on Smashbox Canada's Instagram. Now, it's important that you know that Smashbox Canada isn't the most bumpin' Instagram. Like, they don't get a lot of likes or a lot of comments on their stuff, so I should have known better than to comment this on theirs, but I do this every time I see one of these posts. That's like, we have something for everyone. I go, yeah, but where are the disabled people? I do that all the time. It's just my way of being snarky. Here's the post. All of these drawn women, that's kind of why I felt comfortable using this post, because it's like nobody's actual face. Lots of different shades, lots of different tones. It makes me laugh that they say we most likely have your shade, because it's like, okay. So 40 Shades of Flawless, I commented, cute photo, it's a shame there's no disabled women there though. Now, there's only a couple of comments on this post, but most of the comments that are there are responses to my comment. Number one being, gotta find something to hate on, LMAO. And that comment has 15 likes. Now, here's the thing. I wasn't really hating. Like, I don't know that that's a hate comment. It's just a little bit of constructive criticism. How come in something that is claiming to be inclusive, you don't have a single person who is disabled? And this is the point that I'm trying to make, because it feels like, you know, people complain about companies not using people of all genders, you know, cisgender, male, female, and then intersex and transgender and all the whole spectrum. So now companies are getting better at including people of all genders in their marketing. Great. They were also complaining that these companies don't include people of all shades. So now companies are getting better at that. Great. And then for some reason, I noticed that when someone comes forward and says, yeah, but what about disabled people? We get poo-pooed, you know? Ugh, stop whining. You complain so much. Can't you just be happy? No, because this is how this starts. We get included by complaining about it and just continuously complaining about it. And I guess in a way that's maybe why I have a channel, so that I could complain about this and maybe something could change. Because as I've said before, when I was a kid growing up with a disability, you look at the media and there's no one who looks like me unless you specifically look for like disabled content, you know what I mean? And I don't think that's right. I think if you're gonna have a campaign with 40 people, one of them can be disabled. And it frustrates me that someone looks at my comment, someone who is able-bodied looks at my comment, someone who is disabled, asking for some disability representation, and goes, just have to hate on something. No, I'm not hating. And yes, I have a right to be frustrated about the fact that this is a campaign with 40 shades, and not a single one of these shades is represented by someone with a disability, when people with disabilities literally exist everywhere. And I actually have an answer to this, because I know why people with disabilities are not included, and that is because disability is still seen as ugly, whereas in the beauty industry, they want everything to be beautiful. And the reason disability is still seen as ugly is because people still aren't used to seeing it for some reason. It's really a catch-22 situation, because these companies won't use disabled people in their campaigns, people don't get as used to seeing disability. So then if one of these companies does ever branch out and uses a disabled person, then it's like, oh, well, what's that? I still, to this day, I'll be like, dressed cute, I look fine, I look whatever. will be like just, I don't know, going down the hallway at the mall or going down the street, and people will stare at me so hard like I'm some kind of 8-legged octopus cyclops monster that they will walk into streetlights, that they will trip over their own 2 feet. I watched a man spill his brand new full coffee when he walked out of Tim Hortons one day because he was staring at me so hardcore. That one was kind of funny, I will admit. But why? Why? Like, I know I'm no Giselle Bundchen, but don't look that weird. Even if I did, why are you staring at me, buddy? Leave me alone. So all I'm asking is for representation in that 1 out of 40 situation. That's actually not asking much, because disabled people, we're everywhere, and we look all different sorts, you know? I'm just asking for one. Help able-bodied people get used to seeing people with disabilities so that they're used to us, so that we're normalized, so that people don't walk into street signs by staring at me because they've seen people like me all the time in ad campaigns and this and that or the other, the same way they see able-bodied people everywhere. Another response to my comment that I just wanted to highlight quickly is not all disabilities are visible. Totally true. Totally true. I totally understand and totally respect that. But the issue here is that a photo on Instagram is a strictly visual medium. So it's, unless you can think of a way to visually represent an invisible disability, like, for example, blindness might not necessarily be a visible disability, but if someone has a cane and a guide dog, that's a way to visibly represent an invisible disability. So I think when it comes to mediums like this that are just visual, we should focus on visualizing disability. You know what I mean? I really think it's a cop-out to be like, well, not all disabilities are visible, because, okay, then with that rationalization, they could argue that all 40 women in this campaign are disabled, but we know that that's not the truth. That's not what they were going for. That's a cop out, like I said, and that's just a really shitty excuse. Unless you can find some way, like I said, to visualize the invisible disability. I don't want that answer. It's just not good enough, you know. Unless you can like show a person there making some sort of sign language with their hands and really, really visually represent what they're doing. That totally works. But don't give me that not all disabilities are visible garbage, because you know that the brand didn't mean that, okay? Hold them accountable for the fact that they're trying so hard to be inclusive, but that they're excluding disabled people as a whole. So, even if I get grumpy comments every time I comment this, and let me tell you, this is not the first time. Like I said, this is just the most recent example. Even if I get grumpy comment responses, I'm just gonna keep doing it. Like I always have. And I will just continue to do it forever and ever, and I welcome you to join me, my grumpy Instagram comments, because that is how it starts. That's how we start the revolution, to get disabled people seen. And anyway, that's really all I wanted to say in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!